So the Warriors had a few days off to lick their wounds, get some practice in before this big week and this big game against the Kings. And they did some press yesterday. And Klay Thompson happened to go viral for his response to a question from Tim Kawakami. Now, I assume most of you have seen it because it went viral, but I also realize some of you don't want to use Elon's app. So before we talk about it, let me play you the response.
Kurt talks a lot about believing in his guys, especially the starting lineup. Won championship not too long ago. Having patience, letting guys kind of find their game. How aware are you of that kind of patience, and how much do you value it?
What do you want me to bench me?
No. It's like that's
You want to bench Wiggs?
I don't think I said that.
Okay. I mean, you can suggest it. It's fine. But I mean, thanks, Steve. I guess. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you earn these things like patience and time to find yourself. And I think history is on our side when it comes to that stuff.
You say that. Have you heard people say that, or
No, I don't care what people say. Like, they don't do what we do. They can't do what they do. That's why they talk. Why would I? Like, come on. I don't care what people say at this point in my life. Next question.
Atlas VPN. You got to take advantage of their Black Friday deal. It's the best deal on the market. $1.70 a month, 6 months free, 30-day money-back guarantee. Protect your privacy along with a ton of other benefits by taking advantage of this ridiculous deal. So you can click the link in the description and get that right now. It is a limited time. Now, for me, first and foremost, it's privacy, security, and peace of mind. But on top of that, watching so many different sports, let's be honest, the telecast can make or break your experience. And with Atlas VPN, a lot of the time, it allows me to choose a telecast that I wouldn't have normally, right? Not to mention, you're going to get deals everywhere: Spotify, Netflix, hotels, airlines. And so for, I think, most of us right now, our lifestyles, Atlas VPN is a no-brainer. So again, click the link in the description and take advantage. $1.70 a month, 6 months free, 30-day money-back guarantee at Atlas VPN. That was rough, right? That was rough. I think I always like talking about playing the dozens on the playground, the rules of the playground, right? When you're a kid, you're in the cafeteria, you're on the playground with your boys, whatever it is, you realize pretty quickly, most kids do, hey, if I act like something bothered me, if someone insulted me or said something, the more I act like it bothered me, the worse it gets for me, you know? And Klay, you can tell it's bothering him, right? No one's buying it, but he also has that fake it till you make it mentality, and you can relate it to a prize fighter, an MMA fighter, a boxer. There are some fighters like a Conor McGregor who they need an infinite amount of confidence. They're going to tell you, I'm going to destroy this guy, and no matter what, I'm going to win, right? And they put on this facade of, again, an infinite confidence because that's how they're wired and that's how they perform best, right? And then you have a guy like a GSP who is much more vulnerable in what they say. And well, if I win, I hopefully I can do this and I can execute it. And they take a much more pragmatic approach and consider losing, right? And so fighters that actually consider losing and aren't worried about their confidence as much or faking it, have a tendency to, they can get through struggles easier, right? Because it's like they were aware going into it they may lose. And so after they lose, they have an easier time recovering and getting back on a winning streak, right? Where these fighters who, Tyson's the greatest example, right? Once he figured out he could get beat and that invincibility worn out, all of a sudden he wasn't the same fighter. And so I think Klay, as an athlete and as a basketball player, he likes to have that invincibility mentality. No matter what, he's going to tell you he's good. No matter what, he's going to shoot it like he ain't been in a slump, right? And I get it, shoot or shoot, but it's just a certain approach that certain athletes rely on. And those guys that do that, when it is rattled, right? And when their invincibility has worn off, I think it is harder at times to climb back up and get back to where you want to be. Now, Klay, for me, the other thing that I would say is honesty can unlock a lot of things. And I just said why it's not his mentality, right? He's going to fake it till he makes it. But honesty can alleviate pressure in all walks of life. And I think it would go a long way if Klay just said, hey, I'm struggling right now, but I'm going to get right. And I appreciate the fan support, the team support. And it's been difficult, but I'm going to do the right things. And just was a little more vulnerable and transparent in how he was feeling. And I think that it would not only alleviate the pressure from performing on the court, but I think that it would alleviate us talking heads in some of these things. Because I'm annoyed, man. And I've said it over and over again, like, look, Clay's my favorite player. But at the same time, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at watching him right now. And people are saying, well, is he washed? Is he done physically? That's not what I see at 33 years old. He has plenty of skill and size at this age to still be effective, but it's his mentality that's washed and it's his mindset. As you age as an athlete, you have to become sharper and a step ahead, right? Your experience makes your mind sharper. Andre Iguodala was the greatest example of this. As his athleticism left him, his mind was so sharp, he made it up that way. He knew what was going to happen before it happened because of his experience. And Klay isn't leaning on that. He has plenty of experience, but he's kind of out to lunch. You see it on the defensive ends with switches. He's almost always the common denominator when switches are blown out there. And he just has these blips where he's not paying attention. And then on the offensive end, we all see it. He's way too thirsty to chase the big night. It's you can't, you know, what's a coach's favorite saying when you're down 20, right? It's hey, we can't get it all back in one play. We can't get it all back on one shot, one basket at a time, one stop at a time. I think he needs to take that mentality offensively. You're not going to get it all back in one night. A 40 ball is not going to alleviate the big picture issues of your mentality. Just brick by brick, as the Niners like to say, right? Just chip away at playing the right way and creating those habits and being aware defensively, and then the body language. I know I'm being critical here, but this is what this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be honest, man. The body language, he's over emotional. When he misses a shot, he's pumping his fists. Whenever there's a mistake made, he shunks his shoulders and throws his hands up as if he's like shifting the blame elsewhere. And so again, as one of the biggest Klay Thompson fans around, I'm tired of watching the way he's playing right now. And I think some transparency would go a long way as far as everything that he's dealing with. At the same time, I know he is holding on to that sense of invincibility, and that's his mentality because it's worked that long. But yeah, it has been frustrating to watch, and that response and his attitude and his mentality outside of just even being on the court is alarming. And so, there's this discussion of, are you going to keep this core three together and let them ride off into the sunset, or do bigger moves need to be made? I would have been inclined to say, hey, let them ride off, right? But again, this Klay issue here, it seems like it may come to a tipping point. We know it's a contract year, and Klay may not allow that to happen, right? Because if he's not willing to adapt and buy into a new role at this point in his career and grow mentally, then he could be on the outs at some point, right? And I'm getting ahead of myself here, but that made headlines yesterday, and I thought that I would touch on it. It's an important subject, and amongst Dub Nation, those are my thoughts. I'm as frustrated as most of y'all are with him. He's gonna get more time. I think a change in attitude and mentality is needed more. It's not a physically cooked thing, but you are who you are, and you've done something one way for so long. Is that possible? I think that's the big question. Now, Draymond's back. Day-Day's back. He did press as well, and he basically said, I'm not remorseful. I don't take anything back. I'm going to be who I'm going to be. That's Draymond. Just like Klay's Klay, Draymond's Draymond. And I get it. Listen, I don't think anybody on this team wants him to change how he is. The one caveat that I would say is, change the way you interact with the refs. You can be physical, talk trash to the players, bark at your teammates, do everything that you do on the court. Interact with the referees a little bit differently. I think that would go a long way. Again, adapting and growing as you age as a player and as a person. But The cool thing, I won't say cool, but the good thing about his absence in these 5 days, usually a guy's nursing an injury, which can inhibit their ability to practice and train, right? But he's healthy, so he should have been getting up a bunch of shots, getting in better shape after the ankle, and he should come out with his hair on fire tonight in Sacramento, right? And he needs to remain aggressive offensively. I've I've championed the three ball for him, and it looks so much better. Attack downhill and still look to score. With this, the way this roster is constructed now, and the way those other two are shooting, he's going to have to take the shots that are provided. But I think more importantly, defensively, we're in desperate need of a backline communicator. You see our pick and roll coverage. You see our switching. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. I'm watching the game twice over the next morning, frame by frame. I still don't know. I do know Klay is involved in a lot of this blown switches. Klay and Kuminga, I think, are the two biggest culprits in the blown switching. But either way, they've got to figure it out. And what would go a long way is Draymond back there barking out early and just communicating early for these guys and hopefully setting a habit and getting them on the same page defensively. And then, of course, just his overall energy, right? So, it couldn't come at a better time here. And I think that December is going to tell the story here, right? As we head into the new year, if we're talking about these same issues, Wiggins and Clay's struggles and the same issues, I expect Mike Dunleavy to be active. I do. We're already talking trades and stuff, but let's give them December. Let's give them December here to see if they can get back on track at full strength. Now, this Kings team has got on track since De'Aaron Fox has gotten back, right? They're rolling. And I think my question in tonight's game is, how much can you utilize GP2? You certainly can't match every minute with Fox on the floor, but you're probably going to want to close with GP2 on Fox, right? And I think the other aspect when you're looking at this Kings team is it's very tempting to attack Kevin Huerter defensively, Keegan Murray, who I think is out, but Malik Monk. There are all these weaker targets to attack defensively, but you can't let De'Aaron Fox rest on that end. I think part of stopping him is making him defend. And so you can't go away from that. And then obviously you have to deal with the handoffs from Sabonis and his bulldozing in the paint. You're going to have to rear view contest well. And that's another area where both Klay and Wiggins navigating screens has been an issue. You know what I mean? And they're going to have to fight over the top and rear view contest. Don't die on the screen or try to slide under. We know how quick of a trigger their shooters have. But again, it's going to be a playoff-like atmosphere in-season tournament. I'm not really concerned with that. At this point, are we below 500 right now? I just want to rack up some wins. And then you got 2 games against the Clippers who are struggling, which is going to be fun. I'm going to take my shots at Harden in the breakdowns. But yeah, full strength. Let's see what they do here in December. It's not been the start we all hoped for, but let's see what they do here in December. But overall, I can't front. Beyond Klay's early struggles, which we've seen before, his overall mentality and attitude, I think, needs to change. I think we all can agree upon that. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.